Reds have taken a field in the opener of 3 against their Central Division rivals, the St. Louis Cardinals. And talking about an impressive streak, how about this? One of our storylines brought to you by El Canal. Of course, the Reds took 2 of 3 from these Cardinals, Chris, last week in St. Louis. And they wrapped it up by going 22 consecutive scoreless innings. That is tied for the longest streak since June of 1968. The longest is 25. They're trying to better that tonight. You got to go all the way back to 62, 63. And the man trying to do that is Anthony DeSclafani.
Hey, well, what's wrong with just running it right on? Maybe another 8 or 9 innings tonight. That's what is on the plate of Anthony DeSclafani tonight. He's 6-7 on the year. He's had some really good games, and one of which we've talked about his very last start, that against the Cardinals in St. Louis. He struggled a little bit at home, and that's where his earned run average has jumped up pretty high. He's got a losing record at home, so he'd like to undo all of that with a good outing against the Cardinals. You know, the one thing you think about when you face a team back-to-back, you think you've got to do something different, something extra. For DeSclafani, believe me, Anthony, you just keep the ball down, you throw your slider on the corners, you change speeds, you do everything you did against the Cardinals. You have another good night tonight.
Let's take a look at Mike Matheny's starting lineup tonight for the first place Cardinals. They come in 67-38. Matt Carpenter, followed by Stephen Piscotty, taking over for the injured Matt Holliday, and Jason Hayward in right. Peralta, the shortstop. Brandon Moss, they just got him from Cleveland. He's at first. Johnny Molina catching. Wong, Grilchick, and Lackey, the latter third for the Redbirds. That was quite an accomplishment. The Reds winning 2 out of 3 in St. Louis last week. Their first series victory in St. Louis since September of 2011. Ball 1 to Matt Carpenter. We're underway. Carpenter at 261, 13 home runs, 52 batted in. It's a ball and a strike. Ted Barrett working behind a plate tonight. Ben May, the umpire, at first. Scott Berry at second. James Hoy, the umpire, at third. Chris mentioned DeSclafani's troubles at home. His last 2 starts short of 12 innings pitched, and he has allowed 12 earned runs, 6 in each of his last 2 home outings. Gone swinging Carpenter to start the night.
Looked like he got him on a breaking ball, and actually the breaking pitch looks like it was pretty much right there. Took something off the changeup, and you get him on the change of speed rather than the location. And that's a tough out to record Carpenter here to start this ball game.
So now Piscotty. Of course, the Reds were in St. Louis when, for the second time this year, Matt Holliday was injured. Holliday currently on the disabled list. They'd like to think they could have him back by early to mid-September. And that's a big bat taken out of that lineup, although you can't do any better than this young man has done. He's had a hit in each of his 10 starts as a major leaguer. This will not be a hit his first time up. 2 away. Let's look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford. Hamilton in center, Bird in left, Jay Bruce in right. The regular infielder, Frazier, Suarez, Brandon Phillips, and Joey Votto, and Brian Pena hanging the signs for Anthony DeSclafani, his 21st start of the year. This is the 6th game in a row the Reds have used a rookie starter on the mound. And Chris, we were talking before the game with a number of the season ticket holders of the Reds franchise that it is more than just possible that a rookie starts every game the rest of this 2015 season for the Reds.
Yeah, unless there's a move made, Tom, it's more likely probable than just possible.
Tell you what, though, man, there's a lot to be excited about when you look at this group, along with a group that's on its way up. Robert Stevenson, the #1 prospect in the Reds organization, recently promoted to AAA, was named the International League's Pitcher of the Week. He's undefeated so far with the bats, and you wonder, Might we see him before this year is over?
I certainly hope so. I mean, just from a personal standpoint, who wants to see the young arms coming up out of the organization? If he keeps pitching the way he does, it's hard to keep him down there.
Back up through the middle, a 2-out single into center field by Hayward keeps the opening inning alive for Johnny Peralta.
You know, Tom, you bring up an interesting point with all the rookies in the Reds rotation. It's an unusual dynamic because you have a veteran ball club as far as your everyday players, guys that you run out there every day, with the exception of Eugenio Suarez. And I think his rookie status is gone anyway. Maybe not, but I mean, everybody else is much a veteran out there, and you've got all these rookie pitchers. So I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this, where, you know, you deal up some pretty good innings out there. This ball club should get you some runs, and they may have some fun here.
Well, there's nothing like watching young pitchers come up together, especially if it's a talented group that has a chance with a lot of success, and I think everybody would agree. Starting really of all the young pitchers with the man who's on the mound tonight. I mean, he's the seasoned veteran now of this group, if you will, making his 21st start of this season.
Yeah, only because he had 5 starts last year makes him a veteran.
Nothing in 2 on the shortstop, Peralta.
And what veteran pitchers do better than rookie pitchers is that they command their fastball. And that's the biggest thing that DeSclafani, he came with that reputation of a guy that has good control of a fastball. Throws a very heavy ball, kind of sinks, very effective down in the zone. But on days when he controls that fastball, he has his good games.
Ahead of Peralta at 0-2, runner at first, 2 outs, and gone swinging Peralta. And a good start for Anthony DeSclafani. He allows a hit, strikes out a pair, no run. Reds are coming up against John Lackey when we return. Reds have won 47. They've lost 56. It's presented by Meyer. Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, Todd Frazier to start it. Jay Bruce in right, the cleanup batter. Marlon Byrd out in left field with Brian Pena catching. Suarez is playing very, very well. He's a shortstop. DeSclafani bats 8th. Billy Hamilton 9th. John Lackey makes a 376th regular season start of his career. He's won 161 times, but as we mentioned a moment ago, right now he's on a run where maybe he's pitching better than he ever has.
Yeah, and the reason he's doing that, you can just look right here in this little list of where he does with his control. I mean, he throws a lot of strikes. He's getting a lot of easy outs. Hitters are coming out of the on-deck circle ready to wheel that lumber, and he's taking advantage of it.
And naturally starts out Brandon Phillips. First pitch, strike 1. 279 batter Brandon, 7 home runs, 39 runs batted in. And that one fouled out of play, and Lackey quickly ahead at 0-2. First game back for the Reds after a wild one on Sunday, and Brandon Phillips a part of that, if you will, when he was hit by a pitch. Brandon had a good series. 8 hits and 17 at bats at 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. Of course, the home runs and 7 runs batted in came in 1 game. And here's a 2-strike single to start things here in the first. Well, you get guys on base in front of the Reds' heart of the order the way they're swinging the bats right now. And indeed, IGS brings the energy with this group. Take a look at what they have done here of late. And really for the whole year. With Jay Bruce's hot bat over the last month and a half, Joey Votto, the hottest hitter in the league since the All-Star break.
And you mentioned the 2 guys, the left-handers in this lineup, Votto and Bruce. When they're hitting, they give the lineup a lot of balance because neither of those guys are the same hitter. Bruce is a way different hitter than Votto, but they're both left-handed. That keeps right-handed pitchers a little bit on the honest side.
Votto now the league leader in multi-hit games. We talked about since the All-Star break. Unbelievably, in 53 at-bats, 26 hits. That's a .491 batting average. His on-base percentage is almost 64% of his plate appearances. He is getting on base since the break. And, of course, for the first time in a long time, Votto did not play in the All-Star game. And meaning when he was healthy enough to have been a part of the All-Star team. short left center, and this is going to fall in a hit. So even when Votto doesn't hit it hard, apparently that ball was not read well at all off the bat.
Now Randall Grichuk is their center fielder, and he took about 2 steps back. Votto took a mighty swing, but it came out very soft. And when Grichuk went back, that ball fell into shallow left center field. Got him on, I think, the inside of the bat a little bit. Yep, got him in on the trademark. But when you're standing in center field and Votto swings like that, your first impulse is to move back. And 1 step back is what did him in.
Now Frazier looks at ball 1. I mean, if you can believe this, Votto now in his 100 plate appearances, his last 100, has reached base safely 60 of the 100. First player since Ryan Howard in 2006. In fact, only 6 others have done it, period. Going all the way back to 1974. That is just extraordinary.
Those are Barry Bonds type numbers.
Yep. Now Frazier has cooled off since the break. I mean, the way Votto's going, the way Bruce is going, the way Bird's going, if Frazier can get back to where he was, man, oh man. And there's a grounder to the left side, and this will be a double play. On to third, Phillips. The Cardinals on defense are presented by Ford, DeSclafani, Grichuk, Hayward in the outfield. Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Moss. Third to first. They just picked up Moss from the Indians. Molina hanging the signs for Lackey. Now the Reds need a 2-out hit to get on the board here in the first inning. And that's up to Jay Bruce. Bruce 17 home runs, 60 runs batted in, 26 doubles. That is second on the team only to Todd Frazier's 30. 2-0. Fastball right down the middle, and Bruce a big hearty cut on a 2-0 count. Comes up empty. 2 balls and a strike. Well, what a run Lackey has been on indeed. Tonight gunning for his 10th straight quality start. A 1.67 ERA, and the Reds are on the board. As Bruce is going to pick up his 27th double, and the Reds lead 1-0 here in the first inning.
I think that hit was a little more than just luck by Jay Bruce. He really brought his hands in as he swung through that inside pitch and hits it very deep. That's the way Votto hits him, right out of the catcher's glove. And Lackey visibly upset after giving up that 2-out RBI base hit. And the Reds are on the board.
Well, now Marlon Byrd, 18 home runs, 38 batted in. Well, he'd like to have that pitch back. It looked like Lackey left a breaking ball right in the middle of the plate. Byrd fouls it away. Fastball swung on and missed, and you can tell that Lackey still got a little giddy up on that fastball at 93 miles per hour.
Yeah, maybe not touching the height of his fastball that it used to be, but it's interesting. As Lackey gets older, and he's now 36 years old, he's throwing more fastballs now than he ever has, percentage-wise. You would think it would be the opposite, that he'd start going to the breaking stuff, but not so. I mean, he's a big guy. He's 6 feet 6 inches tall. You don't really get that when you watch him on TV. Probably goes about 240.
That ball hit hard into deep right center field, and this ball is off the wall, just missing a home run. Scoring is Bruce, and 2-out doubles by Jay and Marlin make it 2-0 Redlegs.
Well, you thought that maybe Marlon Byrd would like to have that breaking ball back, the one he fouled off very first pitch. Well, he got it, because there's another tumbler right there. It really didn't do not much but roll up there. And Byrd gets a breaking ball about waist high and laces it into right center field. I thought that ball had a chance to go out of here, but it just didn't have enough height.
So now Brian Pena looks at ball one. We were starting to mention before the Bruce double that Lackey is allowing barely over a run and a half per 9 innings over the last month and a half. And the Reds already with 2 against him in the opening frame here tonight.
You got to remember the difference of the mindset of these two ball clubs right now. I mean, the Reds, they're retooling. They've got a whole rookie pitching staff coming up and throwing. You do have some veterans out there. You're playing for respect. You're playing the game hard. But the Cardinals, on the other hand, they want to get to the end of this season as the division winner. And they're looking down the standings. The Pirates are on them, 5.5 games back. The Cubs have won 5 in a row. So you're just wondering that, this ball club, they're really relying on John Lackey to be the leader in his pitching staff. With Adam Wainwright lost for the season. And he knows where he is on that staff and how important he is.
Well, you can't do much better than Mike Matheny has done. Of course, he grew up just outside of Columbus, Ohio, born and raised. In the midst of his 4th season as Cardinals manager, he's taken his teams to the postseason each of his first 3 years. He is one of only 15 managers ever to win 275 or more games in his first 3 years. I mean, right now he has the 6th quickest, as far as his tenure is concerned, to 300 wins as a manager in the history of the game. Everybody wondered, what would the Cardinals be like when Tony La Russa walked away? I mean, they've been as good as you can be for the first 3.5 years under the man who took his job.
This is where Brian Pena can wear you out. He's a guy that has really traded in the long ball for better contact. His numbers are better with runners on base and better than empty. And he gets better, it seems like, when he gets 2 strikes on him.
And there's ball 4, and this inning will continue. The 7th man at bat will be Eugenio Suarez. But not before the pitching coach Derek Lilliquist will come out to try and settle things down a little bit.
He's thrown 25 pitches on the night, Lackey, and I'm just doing this out of my memory. I probably have it written down on my old scorecard. But I got to think that Lackey probably got through the first 3 innings of his game against the Reds last week in St. Louis on about 25 pitches. And here he's only got 2 outs.
Well, if you're just tuning in, the Reds put the first 2 on with base hits, but then he got a big double play ball off the bat of Frazier, and you're thinking, oh, are you going to be able to do any damage with 2 outs? 3 in a row have reached. RBIs by Bruce and Byrd, a walk to Pena, and here's Suarez. 301 batter, 5 home runs, 21 batted in. The young man has been very, very impressive in this his first season as a Red, taking over for the injured Zach Kozar. Strike 1. And there's another base hit with 2 outs to bring in another run. Suarez delivers, and the Reds lead 3-0. This young man just continues to impress, Mr. Welsh.
Well, he can swing in the bat. There's no question about it. He's got a very smooth and very simple swing. Gets a foot down and just throws that bat head. Well, this is sometimes the best time to get a veteran pitcher like John Lackey's in the first inning.
Well, the pitcher batting 8th, that's DeSclafani, has 7 hits and 36 at bats, so he's not an easy out. Has 2 runs batted in, has a double. Oh, and 2. Inning over, and Lackey walks off in great frustration. The Reds get 3 hits with 2 outs to score and lead 3-0 at the end of 1.
We had a call from a local umpire. His name is Paul. We'll go with Paul because I know he's not doing it for recognition. And he gave the $100, and then he just paused and he started breaking down. His voice started trembling and said, "I want to donate that bag right back to the Reds Community Fund, and I want to put it in the name of Bill Daggy, who's a retired P&G executive who now is the director of the Reds Community Fund and the RBI program." And he said, "I just want to recognize the great work they are doing." And he's seen it firsthand being an umpire. I've seen it firsthand being at the Reds Urban Youth Academy. And I can tell you firsthand, and please trust me, the money that is donated tonight will be going to a great cause, and it will be well spent. I can guarantee you that.
Well, Jim, we know that to be the case, and some of the numbers, which we're going to give a little bit later on, they have just been staggering. As their strike 3 called to Brandon Moss. That's 3 strikeouts of the first 5 Cardinals that have come to the plate tonight against Anthony DeSclafani. When the Castellini group, along with the Williams and a number of others, bought the Reds back in 2006. Now, they were partnered roughly, the community fund was, with a dozen neighborhood teams, had not yet begun to renovate fields. The fund now supports more than 700 teams and has renovated almost 400 fields. And that's not even mentioning the expansion of the Reds Rookie Success League, the RBI program, the match program, constructing that $7.5 million academy. It's incredible what they've done, they being the Reds and the community fund along with their partners, and really so many of you that are out there watching tonight. And if you're able to lend a hand to continue the work they're doing, I know we very much appreciate it. Molina out on a ground ball to second. 2 gone here in the second with the Reds leading 3-0.
You know, Tom, it's not only the renovation of the fields or the equipment that they may buy, but it's getting people. When you renovate a field and you get a team playing on there, you get people involved. You get parents involved. You get neighbors involved. You get coaches that are coming out of, their living rooms. Maybe they gave it up for a few years, but now they feel energized and they get back out there. Just makes the community a whole lot better place.
It does, and the pride that takes place in the community. And I had a chance this year as a coach of my son's not whole team to play on a couple of fields that have been renovated, and the pride in the community of having oftentimes what was an eyesore in the community, and now all of a sudden this place, as you mentioned, Chris, where families, even if you don't even have a kid playing, one of the games we played one night, there were just people that live in the neighborhood that came out to watch a bunch of little kids play baseball. I mean, it couldn't have been better. DeSclafani not fooling around here tonight. He's getting that baseball, big deep breath, the sign from Pena. It's the first time he's taken any time at all in between pitches, and now the 1-2 to Wong, pulled foul.
Well, he ought to feel very energized himself, DeSclafani should, after pitching the way he did against the Cardinals last time out. You didn't know what you can do because he did it last time. Now that he's got a 3-run lead, it makes him even puff his chest out a little bit more.
The 1-2. Got him swinging. That's 4 strikeouts. Billy Hamilton, first pitch swinging to begin the Reds' second inning, is thrown out by Colton Wong. Reds lead 3-0.
Tom, I looked it up, and last time the Reds and Cardinals got together with Lackey on the mound against DeSclafani, Lackey threw in the first inning 8 pitches, all of them strikes.
Wow.
And 2 strikeouts in that first inning. He threw 30 in the first inning tonight, and he gave up 3 runs. So what a difference a week can make. You know, he's a guy that is very efficient with his pitches this year, and I think hitters around the league know he's going to throw pitches for strikes, so they come right out and they swing. And he is among the top 5 in the league. How about this, Brandon Phillips?
Brandon will take it all day, every day. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Go back to that list, though, for a second.
I thought it was interesting because if you look on this list, you're going to see some of the better pitchers in the league. Bartolo Colon having another Bartolo Colon year. He throws about 90% fastballs because that's why he gets a few pitches. Scherzer's one of the best. Lackey, Zach Greinke, and Mike Leake. So guys that are around the zone, you're going to have more hitters swinging that bat, and you're going to take advantage of your defense.
Got to be a lesson in there somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah, I think there probably is.
That was why I said let's go back and put that up again, because the guys that are throwing the strikes, well, that's it. How'd you like to start your rotation with that 5?
Well, you know, any coach at any level doesn't want a pitcher going out there and throwing 30 pitches an inning. They're not going to be around very long, no matter how good they are.
You know, Chris, the one thing in watching all of those guys pitch through the years, and Greg Maddux used to talk about this all the time. Randy Johnson did too, but his stuff was so uniquely different than a guy like Maddux, is that, you know, you hear so many times guys get ahead 0-2, and let's try to get him a chase now a little bit. Let's nibble around and nibble around and nibble. Those guys on that list, they're not nibbling around.
No.
They're not wasting pitches.
Well, some of those guys on that list are also on the same list of getting a lot of first pitch swings, because you come out of the on deck circle ready to swing the bat because you know you're getting strikes. Avato's a different animal there. Here's the first pitch swing percentage, and again, some of the same names. Scherzer, Lackey, Kershaw. That would not be a bad starting 5 to have.
Cueto. I take that group over the first group.
You know, interesting, because Lackey doesn't look like he should belong on that second list. All those other guys are power pitchers, lots of strikeouts, guys who have a put-away pitch. Lackey really doesn't have a put-away pitch, but he this year has figured out a way to get a lot of hitters out and has done it very efficiently.
3-1 breaking ball. Votto will take his walk. He's on base again 2 times tonight. If a Red hits a home run off that Toyota sign tonight, Debbie Lasita from Union, Kentucky will win that Tundra. And you can still register for your chance to win in an upcoming game. Just stop by your Cincinnati and or Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. All right, Reds got 3 runs in the first inning, and they're knocking on the door for more in the second. 2 on for Frazier. Brandon takes off, throw down to third base, and he easily gets in there. Brandon must have been paying attention earlier when Bruce was out at second, and a couple of times Lackey never even checked on him, and he doesn't look at him here.
No, he doesn't. He varies his look sometimes, but I think Lackey right now is more focused on that hitter. And Brandon smells that. It really changes the at bat now for Todd Frazier. Fly ball, plates a run.
That is 15 out of 16 in stolen base attempts this season for Brandon Phillips. I mean, the last 3-4 years he never ran, and he was a perennial 2020, even a 30-30 player going all the way back to 2007.
He was hitting the cleanup spot a lot, and I wonder if that had something to do with his mindset.
Brandon is 2 stolen bases away from having more this year than he had, or 4 away, I beg your pardon, than he had the last 3 years combined. Two away in the inning. 2 strikeouts for Lackey. That's a big one there.
I'm beginning to think that Frazier has Lackey on the mound, and he's one of those guys where he just doesn't see the ball come out of his hand very well. He struck out twice in 3 at-bats last week against Lackey, and he's made 3 outs and 2 at-bats here tonight.
Jay Bruce, a 2-out run scoring double to drive in the first of 3 in the first inning, and the Reds are leaning on Jay again with 2 away an inning later. Ball 1. Last 4 games, 5 hits for Bruce, and all 5 of them doubles, including his first at bat tonight. Well, let me ask you, Chris, I've noticed it in between every pitch. Mike Matheny is going through a series of signs with his catcher, Yadier Molina. Molina's been around a long time. Lackey's been around a long time. What do you think that might be all about?
I think it's about defensive signals, you know, whether you're going to throw through, if the batter decides to run. It has nothing to do with calling pitches.
Well, this should end the inning. Wong out in short right field. The Reds leave him on the corners. We go to the 3rd. The Reds lead by 3. Our lows never stop improving. Named the International League's Pitcher of the Week. Chris, I don't know how you do much better than this. Look at the 6 starts so far in Louisville, and this week 2 starts. My, oh my.
You know, this is a case of a young man really beginning to get it. His delivery has changed completely, Tom. I've been looking at video of him, you know, over the years as he came up, drafted out of high school, very raw, great arm. But what the work has been done by the Reds minor league pitching coaches with Robert Stevenson and where he is right now, it is just amazing. And he's got a repeatable delivery and a rocket arm, and that's a great combination.
Randall Grichuk, 12 home runs, 288 batter. They are very impressed with this young man. He figures to be a regular in the Cardinals lineup for many, many, many years to come. Hook foul. DeSclafani is allowed 1 base runner. That was a 2-out single by Hayward in the first inning. Grichuk to be followed by the pitcher Lackey, then back to the leadoff man Matt Carpenter. Reds scored all 3 of their runs in the opening inning. Straight away center field. Racing back is Hamilton, and it's off the wall back towards the infield. Grichuk will come to third base, and he slides in safely for his 7th triple of this season.
Well, he's a young man that can really hit a fastball, and he combines a pretty good bat speed with foot speed on this one. He actually got that ball a little bit on the end of the bat, sending Billy Hamilton all the way off the wall. And as the play developed ahead of Grichuk running around second base, he could gauge where Hamilton was, where the ball was, whether he was going to go to third. You don't see too often a leadoff triple. A lot of guys hold up at second base if there's any doubt at all whether they can get there or not.
Lackey, the batter. By going 3 hits in 37 at-bats. He has 1 run batted in. Reds conceding the run along the infield. And it's a ball and a strike. Of course, tonight our Reds Community Fund Telethon, raising money for the Reds Community Fund and all the great work they do. We do this annually. As it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Lackey. That's a strikeout for the first out of the inning. A lot of folks answering the phones, volunteering their time to help us here tonight. If you would like to donate an MVP bag for $100, a drawstring backpack, a Reds replica batting practice pullover, those things are sweet. So is that 1990 World Series replica ring. You get a promotional bobblehead, either Billy Hamilton or Brandon Phillips, a Reds Community Fund hat. You get view level tickets to a game. A premium MVP bag is $200, and in addition to the MVP bag, you get an autographed baseball signed by your favorite Red.
Now,
the sooner you get that in, the better chance you have of getting your first choice of player.
Right. So if you want a frontline player, maybe a superstar or an all-star caliber player, those are the ones that are going to go first. So there's your incentive in picking up the phone like right now and dialing them up.
And again, the number 513-765-7700. 765-7700. Or if you'd rather do it online, Reds.com/telethon. TELATHON. One ball and 2 strikes on Matt Carpenter, who struck out his first time up.
Boy, you rarely see Carpenter go out of the strike zone like he did right there to chase that fastball. Mike Matheny really experimenting with his lineup a little bit, moving guys around here and there. They had Colton Wong leading off when the Reds were in St. Louis last week. Carpenter hitting second. This is a key out right here for DeSclafani. If he wants to throw a 0 on the board right here, Carpenter's the man he can get, and he's ahead in the count. He's had him chasing pitches out of the zone. Might be time to come right back upstairs a little bit out of the zone again. Going to come inside on him here with a heater.
That ball launched into deep right center field, and Carpenter plays long ball for the 14th time. He hits a 1-2 pitch to the seats to make it a 1-run game.
Boy, we say it so many times, Tom. It's not sometimes where you hit your target, it's where you miss. And look where this pitch misses. It's in the zone, right down the center of the plate. Now, when I'm talking about going up the ladder, I'm talking about chin high, up out of the zone. And I think he wanted that ball a little bit more inside, and Carpenter makes it a 1-run game.
So that ends a string of consecutive scoreless innings the Reds pitchers have had against this Cardinal offense. It was 22 coming into the game. It went to 24 after a scoreless pair to start it. But Carpenter changes all of that. You know, it's funny sometimes how where a guy hits in the batting order can skew how you look at a player as an offensive force. You look at Carpenter, who primarily is hit leadoff. Chris mentioned they fooled around and moving him from time to time. But I mean, by and large, if they play a World Series game tomorrow, he's in a leadoff spot. And you compare him, say, to Joey Votto. Now, Votto's on base percentage is significantly higher. He walks a lot more. And Votto's batting average is 40 points higher than Carpenter. But there's only 5 home run differential between the two. Carpenter has more runs batted in, and that's hitting primarily out of the leadoff spot. Carpenter has more doubles than Joey Votto. And so, you know, you wonder what would Carpenter's numbers look like if they decided to hit him third in a lineup. I mean, my, oh my. There's strike 3 called, and I don't think that DeSclafani agreed with that pitch at all, that call at all.
Well, that's 6 of them now for DeSclafani. Number 7, our box tracks has it right on the edge of the plate. Nice comeback action on that fastball. Well, you know, you might compare really Carpenter rather than comparing him to Joey Votto. You compare him to Brandon Phillips, because Phillips has batted all around the lineup like that as well.
It's a ground ball to the shortstop, and Hayward thrown out. But a triple by Grichuk starts it, and he scores on a 2-run home run by Matt Carpenter. A 3-2 Reds lead.
Some of the money given tonight is going directly to scholarships. Folks, you out there helping these kids go to college. It's so much more than renovating fields. It's so much more than equipment. It's about mentoring. It's about educational opportunities. It's about giving people an opportunity in life. And simply, that's what it's all about. There are underserved portions of our community. There are underserved kids in our community that don't have the opportunities that others have. We're trying to create those opportunities here tonight. And these ladies manning the phones are success stories. And there are other success stories just waiting to happen. If you'd like to get involved, 513-765-7700. Log on to reds.com/telethon. We'll be here all night taking money. We raised thousands of dollars last year. Let's crush it this year, Reds fans. Reds country, call to action.
What a play here by the third baseman Carpenter. I mean, he runs out of arm, as you see, and it's a great scoop at the other end by Brandon Moss. That ball was right inside the line. I mean, by an inch or two.
So a hit taken away on that play by Carpenter for Marlon Byrd, and now it's Brian Pena. Reds scored 3 in the first, had a chance to add to it in the second with runners on the corners and 1 now. They did not score. Matt Carpenter, a 2-run home run in the top of this third inning, so a 1-run game. And there's a tapper wide of first. Billy Hatcher still picking it down there. The pride of Williams, Arizona, is Billy Hatcher. That's cattle country up there near Flagstaff, Arizona. There's a fly ball to right center field, caught at the warning track for the second out of the inning. Of course, the Reds will be going to Arizona, their spring training home, this coming weekend to kick off a 3-city road trip. 3 against the Diamondbacks, followed by 3 in San Diego, then a 4-game series in Los Angeles. Reds have not seen the Diamondbacks or the Dodgers so far this year.
We saw a lot of them both in spring training, but it seems like it'll be a different team now. Having gone several months between you visit them in the exhibition season and you come out here in real baseball. It'll be nice and toasty there in Phoenix.
Yes, it will. tends to do that out there in the summertime. Temperatures every day will be anywhere from 105 to 112.
Well, you were once a veteran out there. You'll go out there and called many games for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I could use a couple of tips on how to dress for the heat.
You could have people that live there their whole lives. They're not going to have any tips for you on that, young man.
Get all your chores done early in the day.
Early, like 4 a.m. 2-1 pitch. Straight up in the air, and Lackey will go through a perfect third. And we march on to the 4th. Reds president and CEO Bob Castellini will join us on this Reds Community Fund Telethon when we come back. I was told by our producer Josh Hall to squeeze in a little closer to Bob Castellini, but he must not have been paying attention to this device you have on your shoulder. You just had that baby surgically repaired, did you not?
A little rotator cuff. I'll be able to pitch in about spring training.
Okay.
All right.
You know, tonight, Bob, is a very special night every year here on Fox Sports Ohio. We have this Reds Community Fund Telethon, and you know, I brought up earlier back in 2006 when you put together the group that bought this franchise, the Reds Community Fund. I'm not going to say it wasn't non-existent, but you know, roughly you were working in about a dozen neighborhood teams. There were no fields being renovated. That hadn't even started yet. And now here we are, 9 years, almost 10 years later. You support more than 700 teams, renovated close to 400 fields. And that doesn't even talk about the Reds Rookie Success League, the match program, RBI. How has all of this happened?
Well, I think 2 important words are Charlie Frank.
Mm-hmm.
He has been sensational. He headed up the community fund at the time, but I would tell you we liberated him and said just go for it. And the owners of the Reds were extremely generous to get it going, and then the sponsors, and you know, I think it culminated with what P&G has done in league with Major League Baseball and the Reds to build the Urban Youth Academy, which is really one of a kind, and I think we touch we have as many as 35,000 people out there, kids out there, various games and activities. But you know, we have a program that goes all year round, and look, you accomplish 2 things with this concentration on these ball fields for these kids. You have the kids active, you know, I mean, several thousand of them year round, mm-hmm. and certainly all summer long for a lot of them, and they're off the streets and they're playing a sport that they really enjoy. And I'll tell you what we compete with more than anything else is you know, these devices.
Yep, you're right.
These kids, when we were kids, Tom, you and Chris, when you were kids, you were out playing sports all year long, all the different sports, and all of us were. There's a little bit of a different concentration today, so we've got to extend ourselves, and that's happening with baseball. And I will tell you that not only is it great for the kids, and you know, the wherewithal that they come up with all summer long and all year long, and that little spark of self-confidence that they get when they do well in a sport, especially baseball. But also, I mean, this is a little pragmatic, but we are building baseball fans.
Sure.
We're getting these kids back playing baseball, understanding the game. And I'll tell you what's just amazing is how many girls play the game and softball. And, look, if you don't understand the rules as you grow up, it's sort of tough to get your wife to come down to the game, right? Or your daughters or whatever. And it's been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal what Charlie has done with RBI and youth baseball in the city of Cincinnati, with the support of all these wonderful sponsors and season ticket holders and owners. It's just over the top. I'm very proud of it. Very proud of it.
Bob, you also have to be proud of the way the players, your major league players over the years, have really gotten involved in it too.
Oh, absolutely.
Without them, it would be very difficult.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. Not only do they come out and support these kids, but financially they're a big support system. The players have been fantastic. So it's a combination of all those things that have made this comeback of youth baseball so significant and successful in Cincinnati.
You know, Bob, so much of that has been was culminated, and of course there's more to come. I mean, we're still plowing forward, moving forward to do bigger and better things, not only in Cincinnati with the Reds Community Fund, but all over Reds country. I mean, whether you're in Dayton or Columbus or in West Virginia or in Indiana or in Kentucky or Tennessee, wherever it might be, as this should be the second out of the inning. But man, around the All-Star game, it seemed like you and the commissioner were at one function or another that the Reds Community Fund was involved in. He had to be amazed when he was here to see everything going on, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And also he was very proud to participate in a lot of it. When the All-Star game takes place in the city, Major League Baseball donates somewhere in the area of $5-6 million to that community, and then the community itself raises money. And you know, we had the Urban Youth Academy with P&G and the Reds, and we raised pretty close to $10 million in and around the All-Star game, which was phenomenal. And the things that we were able to do, I mean, we did some really neat things at you know, at Children's Hospital. We had a wonderful reception room that we put together over there, and the Boys and Girls Club, the Shakely Boys and Girls Club building out on the west side is fantastic. That was really a big deal. And,
yeah, over in Price Hill that morning.
Yes. And then this reception center at over in the West End to rehabilitate and to help veterans come back and get jobs and get reoriented into civilian life. That's a big deal, and that was one of those things that you know, we were presented with it. We didn't know what it was all about, and so we looked into it and we said, "Gosh darn it, we want to get behind this thing." Those things that happen in and around All-Star games in a community are pretty fantastic.
Well, Bob, we can't thank you enough for all that you've done. And I know I'm speaking for so many people. Chris and I make our year-round home here just like you do. We all grew up here. And for all those out there that have been so very much positively helped by everything that you spearheaded, Charlie, your ownership group, and so many others, I know I'm speaking for all saying thank you.
Well, thank you, Tom. You guys have been a great support system yourselves, and I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Bob.
Keep up the great work. We're going to raise some more money tonight.
Hey, I understand you're going over the top tonight.
We're going over the top.
We're going for it.
Charlie Frank is giving the orders. We're on our way.
I'll be cheerleading for you for the rest of the night. Keep up the good work, guys.
All righty, here we go in the bottom half of the fourth inning. The Reds in the opener of this three-game series on a 3-2 lead over the Cardinals. John Lackey allowed 3 runs in the first, was in trouble in the second, got out of it when the Reds had first and third and 1 out, and then retired the side in order in the third. Here we go with the pitcher leading off in the fourth. These two pitchers were locked up in a 1-run game last week in St. Louis, with the Reds winning that one 1-0. 3-2 last of the fourth inning tonight.
You know, Tom, great having Bob Castellini on, but the message that I get every time we talk about the Reds Community Fund and what they've done with the fields and the programs and the services, it goes way beyond just baseball. I mean, there's so many things that community fund is involved in. It's helping the community right from the inside out. I mean, it's something everybody can get involved in, and you get involved in it by ringing up the phone tonight.
And look, I'm not going to dismiss $100. I would never would, because it's not my money. If you're able to spend that kind of money, God bless you. If you're not, God bless you. But this isn't one of those where you got to spend, you know, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to be a part of something and make a difference. If you're able to donate $100 tonight and get that bag, We'd love to have you with us. If you're able to only volunteer your time, maybe you're living near one of the areas that the Reds Community Fund is involved in. Maybe there's something you can do with your hands, with your brain, that would help the cause. We'd love to have you do that too.
It's funny that your son played on your son Luke is 10.
Yeah.
Played on a field or a couple of fields that were renovated by the Reds Community Fund this year as a 10-year-old. And my son Mac, playing in a college summer collegiate baseball league, played on another field, Brian Wilson Field, out in the eastern part of Cincinnati, UC Claremont. Beautiful ballpark. Yep. So, I mean, the ranges are everywhere, including softball. Young and old, reaches everybody. Lackey wanted it, and Billy laid off. Nothing messes up an easy 1, 2, 3 inning worse than having Billy Hamilton on first base.
Trying to bunt a 2-1 pitch. It's over the screen and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Billy Hamilton. Billy grounded out to the second baseman Colton Wong on the first pitch of his only at bat, leading off the second. You brought up the Cubs and the Pirates. They were shut down due to rain last night. Cubs leading 3-0 in the third inning tonight in Pittsburgh. And Hamilton lifts another ball into the air. Well, right now you can tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag OhioDataStrongFan, and you might see yourself during an upcoming Reds telecast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. For the Cubs, they're in the midst of a very important stretch right now. And Chris brought up earlier, they've won 5 in a row. They are 4 behind the Pirates for second place in the National League Central Division. But only a half of game in front of the San Francisco Giants for the second and final wild card spot among all National League teams. So pretty much every night the remainder of this season, it is going to be grinded out time for a handful of teams, including the Cubs. Fly ball to center, and it's back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings for Lackey. He's retired 8 in a row.
Deserving another championship that we're going to be heading to in Texas here short.
You got honored before the game today, and we'll show a little bit of that. But D'Airo, can you put into words what the Reds Urban Youth Academy and the RBI program has meant to you?
First of all, I'd like to give thanks to God. Without him, none is possible. But the Urban Youth Academy is like my second home. It helped me better as a person and a student athlete. I actually worked on mechanic and fundamental stuff, and I studied a lot there. So I took advantage of it, basically.
That is awesome. And you, Cameron, have seen many success stories like D'Airo here. I imagine there are a ton of them out there.
Absolutely. It seems to be growing greater and greater every year. But, you know, the academy being where it's at and the Castellini's vision to really make this thing great has really been exceptional. To be a part of it has been a real honor.
Well, thank you for your service. Thank you for mentoring these youngsters. I cannot thank you and commend you enough.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
D'Airo, good luck in life, man. We're counting on you.
Thank you. Thank you. You too, man.
All right, Tom and Chris, success stories up here. D'Airo is a success story. There are success stories waiting to be happened, and you can get involved. 513-765-7700.
Hey, Jim, hang on a minute now. All right, keep that camera shot on that young man. You got a good-looking smile here.
He does have a good-looking smile.
Have him turn around and face the camera. There we go. We got to get that shot. If we're talking,
D'Airo, you're looking good. They're saying you're looking good, and you got a $1 million smile going on.
Thank you, man. Who is this? Chris Welch?
Chris Welch and Tom Britterman are in there.
Welch, man, he helped me pitch a little bit at the academy, so.
That's awesome. Chris Welch, you helped him pitch at the academy.
How about that?
Very nice.
hooked up with D'Iro early this year, you know, before the Reds headed down to spring training, and what a pleasant young man. And you know what happens when you deal with guys like Cameron Satterwhite and D'Iro, that they get influenced so much by that Reds community fund that years from now, D'Iro may come back and be a coach himself.
You know what? You could pretty much take it to the bank.
And that is what's so beautiful about it. It just begins a whole new cycle of giving back, remembering how much it meant to you during your youth. And, boy, once you get it going, it can't be stopped.
And, you know, the one thing you heard him talk about in there, and for those that are saying, you know, look, there are a lot of charities that are asking me to help them here, help them there. And, look, we get it. Every one of us at one point in time feels that way. But one line he just said in there, which we really haven't touched a lot on tonight, but you know, this is a place where these kids, even when baseball season is not going on, where they can go after school in many cases and do their homework, where it's quiet and peaceful, and they have tutors there and people there that can help them. So you're doing more than just getting kids to play baseball. Yes, that can be a part of it, but that's not exclusively what's going on. And a lot of these places that the Reds Community Fund are behind. That was a really slick double play there, started by Votto, who is always uber aggressive as a first baseman, especially for a right-handed throwing first baseman. This ball came in to get it right away, bare hands, perfect throw. It was a nice catch by Suarez with a running coming on him, and Brandon over to clean it up at the bag.
Well, you don't make that play unless you're thinking about it as you're charging the baseball. I mean, Votto made his mind up ahead of time based on the lead that he saw Randall Grichuk have, that he was going to go to second base. I love aggressive defense like that. I mean, look what it's done for DeSclafani. Nearly gets him out of the inning completely.
Well, this is a guy who got him for the long ball his last time up. Carpenter in the third with a man aboard. Took it from a 3-0 Reds lead to its current 3-2 advantage. Three and two on Carpenter. Vaughn swinging. DS. And come down to watch the Reds and the Royals. You know, I'm sitting around trying to figure out and not knowing the Royals schedule, and I'll look at it later with their media guide in our booth. There is a legitimate chance that Johnny Cueto could start one of those games, and they're only here for a 2-game series. He would be slated to pitch on Thursday if you just went back from his first start with Kansas City, which was last Friday. So Thursday would be the day, but of course you figure in off days, and that can change everything. Votto will be retired for the first time tonight.
Well, if you're running the Kansas City Royals, if you're Ned Yost and you get Johnny Cueto dumped into your lap and you have a chance to pitch him once every 5 days or push him back when you have an off day, and keep in mind you only have him for a few months of the season, what would you do? Johnny is on the mound. I mean, as much as I can get out of Johnny Cueto, I'm getting out of Johnny Cueto this year. That means pitching him every 5th day, which will land him on that 2nd day here, right, that the Royals will be in town.
Yesterday was their only scheduled off day from now until the time they're here. This ball in the air to right field. And the first 2 retired. Taylaki starting to get on a pretty good run now. 10 in a row retired by Lackey.
Yeah, we talked about pitches per inning for John Lackey, where he ranks among other major league pitchers and National League pitchers, and he's in that top 5 category. And other than that first inning, I mean, he's coming right after him. He's now recorded 2 outs in this inning with 4 pitches.
Here's Jay Bruce.
I mean, he's not afraid to throw strikes. I mean, that's the interesting thing. But you notice where he's throwing them. I mean, he's not throwing them down the middle. He's throwing them at the knees. He's throwing them at the corner. When he comes upstairs, he's staying out of the middle of the zone. And upstairs is actually upstairs, shoulder height, not waist height.
You know, the other thing is, watching Lackey more in recent weeks, he's almost falling into that old Leo Mazzoni school of pitching, where every fastball is away. I mean, Leo Mazzoni used to just pound away. Why throw a fastball in unless you get 2 strikes, like you said, Chris, you want to elevate one up and in. Okay, fine. But when you're coming after the hitter to start a count, every fastball tonight has been down and away from the batter. Now, right there, he throws in, but way in.
Not meant to be a strike.
Right.
If Bruce wants to chase it, go ahead and chase it. Well, you know, why wouldn't you? Because with the way they're calling balls and strikes now, there's more room at the bottom of the zone than there ever has been. With metrics and defensive shifts and so on, your defenses are in better places than they've ever been before. So what is the hardest pitch to elevate with any kind of authority? The pitch that's low and away.
Now he's come in 2 in a row again that were never strikes to start with to Bruce. So let's see what he does here when he wants to go. He's coming in one more time.
Slider down and in, trying to get Bruce to swing over the top of it. It's funny, Lackey does all this. I mean, he's, as you mentioned, 161 game winner in the major leagues. He's only lost 123. He's really done it without a changeup. I mean, he is a fastball, slider, occasional curve. I mean, like 5 out of 100. And there it is right there.
Got him on a breaking ball and a 3-2 pitch. And it's a 3-2 game.
And you can also get a premier MVP bag, lots of goodies, and a signed baseball by your favorite Reds player. Some of those quantities are limited, so get in here quickly. Tom and Chris, last year we raised over $50,000, and I am told right now we just hit the $50,000 mark, and we've got a long time to go. Let's crush this, Reds fans. Let's get involved and let's give these youth of our community a chance to play and a chance in life. The MVP bag is a drawstring backpack, a Reds replica batting practice pullover, a 1990 World Series replica ring, a promotional bobblehead, your choice, Billy Hamilton or Brandon Phillips, a community fund hat, 2 view level tickets, and that premium MVP bag is all those items plus a signed baseball by your favorite Reds player. I am up here helping man the phones. If you want to call in and talk to me and donate $5, $10, whatever it takes, I'll talk to you. Let's get it going, Reds country. Tom and Chris, back to you.
Amen to that.
Good job, Jim Day.
Good boy, Jimbo.
I mean, you are all over it. Last year in a game, as I remember, Tom, it was what, a 10-0 game. It was not a very good game on the field, but Reds fans came forward. Jim Day prodded them all night long, and we have already reached the mark that they eclipsed last year all night of $50,000.
But let's don't let up. Anthony DeSclafani's not letting up. He comes after Stephen Piscotty with a strikeout. That's 8 of them, and that is
8 of them now for DeSclafani. He had only 3 in his last game against the Cardinals, but he is just really spot on, and it's spot on with that fastball. Got nice little comeback action on it. Piscotty's a guy that will chase pitches away, so he's aware of that outer part of the zone, doesn't want to be too aggressive, and a perfectly placed fastball.
And as we were starting to mention there, a new career high for DeSclafani. 8 of them, and we're only in the 5th, 6th inning now.
You know, it looks like he sped up his delivery just a hair. I mean, watching him throughout the year, sometimes he can kind of lull you and lull himself to sleep in his delivery by having it too slow. Looks like he's picked the pace up a little bit. I don't know whether that's intentional or just one of those nights where he feels like he's done that.
Hayward is singled up through the middle and then bounced down to the second baseman, Brandon Phillips. Actually, that was a ground out to the shortstop with Suarez cheating. And it's back-to-back strikeouts now for DeSclafani to start this 6th inning. And every one he has is a new career high.
Pretty impressive when you have him looking. And that is right on the edge of the plate. Little backdoor slider. Boy, I'd like to run that pitch off about 100,000 times.
Well, it's a 1-run lead for the Reds. 2 outs here in the 6th, and the always dangerous Peralta settles in. He has struck out swinging and singled into center. Peralta has turned out to be an outstanding pickup by the Cardinals. Of course, it raised a lot of eyebrows. You know, after Peralta 2 years ago was suspended for the final nearly 2 months of the year for PED use. And you know, a lot of people said, oh, the Cardinals, they walk around and they preach about doing it the Cardinal way, and why would they take a chance on Peralta? They maintain that, you know, based on their knowledge, that it was not steroid use by Peralta, it was something else, and they took a chance on him, and it's been a great pickup. There's a bouncer into right field, a base hit. We invite you to follow the Reds the remainder of the year wherever you are with MLB.tv at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. It's up to the moment at any moment. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Two down in the inning. And here comes Brandon Moss. And a base hit into left field. So 2 on after strikeouts to begin the inning. And the Cardinals have a tying run at second base, a go-ahead run on at first.
Brandon Moss did some damage against DeSclafani earlier this year when he was wearing the uniform of the Cleveland Indians. He came in here and hit a home run against DeSclafani. And then on Sunday night, he had a walk-off base hit as a pinch hitter for the Cardinals. So he has taken right to those Cardinal uniform. Done a nice job. They put the big shift on him, and he hit the other way the other night, and he hit it the other way just now.
Well, it's a big at bat in this ball game right here and right now, because this is a guy who seems like more times than not with a game on the line, he delivers the goods. And that's Molina, but DeSclafani will get him to end the inning. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Young man pitching a good one tonight, leading 3-2. Welcome all those of you watching over at Cincinnati Children's. We are hoping you're having a good day today. We have a member of our regular crew, Tom Seaver, in the hospital tonight, recuperating, doing well. We certainly send our thoughts and prayers to him and his family. Miss you down here, Thomas. Reds lead 3-2. Marlon Byrd leads off against Lackey, who's retired 11 in a row after the Reds had 6 hits, 2 walks in the first inning and a third of this game. So they had 8 base runners against Lackey in the first inning and a third. No base runners since the walk to Votto in the second inning. Marlon to be followed by Brian Pena and then Eugenio Suarez. And he did not go around on the appeal to Ben May, the umpire at first base.
I want to send out birthday greetings, Tom, to Harry Purcell. Harry Purcell is the granddad. He brought his grandbabies and his daughter here tonight, sitting out there in the moon deck out behind Jay Bruce, and having birthday number 90 at the ballpark tonight. So congratulations to Harry, and best wishes to his son-in-law, Bill Case. We've talked a little bit about Bill over the past few months. You know, laid up sick. He's got some issues that keep him from coming out to the ballpark, but he is a big fan, big Reds fan, never misses a game. And Bill, we continue to wish you best. You hang in there, keep working hard, and hope you get better. And I hope your kids and your father-in-law, Harry Purcell, having a great birthday here at the ballpark.
90. Harry, happy birthday, man. And he's still cruising around out there in the moon deck.
That's where people out there having fun.
Well, that's a beautiful seat out there, I'll tell you what.
Marlin hanging right in there. He got down 0-2, and Lackey's tried a lot of different pitches to get him to swing and miss or put one in play and make it out, and Marlin has not cooperated yet. He had a big double in the first inning. Lackey wanted it, and Bird was happy he didn't get it. Teddy Barrett having a good night behind the plate.
Breaking ball away from him in a check swing, and he went around this time. 5 strikeouts now for Lackey. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we have our Data Strong fan photo of the game, and you can still tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag Ohio Data Strong Fan. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Larry, thank you. Red Bull guy.
He's awake for those West Coast games.
Well, he'll be fired up then. Next week is his kind of week. Actually, the end of this week, where the Reds not as late start times in Arizona. We talk frequently about how they start their games during the weeknights at 6:40 local time, so that'll be 9:40 Eastern time. Friday night, it's an 8:10 start Eastern time Saturday, and then a 4:10 Eastern start on Sunday, and then they get very late in San Diego and Los Angeles. The Giants start later than anybody out west by about 5 minutes. And the Reds won't go there until mid-September.
Of course, the Giants have already been through Cincinnati earlier this year.
Well, they steamrolled through here.
Yes, they did.
They've been a weird team this year. They have gone through some unbelievable hot streaks. At one time they lost, what, 8, 9 in a row earlier this year? So they've been a streaky bunch, but they're right there. Prime time position to try and defend their world championship. They're only 3 games out of first behind the Dodgers, despite their ups and downs. And mentioned earlier, they're only a half game behind the Cubs for the second wild card spot. 2-2 on Brian Pena. And again, Lackey wanting a call that he doesn't get. Suarez waiting. 12 in a row retired by Lackey. And now the payoff pitch. Short left field. That's how they had him played. 2 out. Cubs have extended their lead in the 5th inning in Pittsburgh 4-0. And a long rain delay to get started tonight in D.C. Nationals in front of Arizona 3-0. Giants 2, Atlanta 1. They're in the bottom of the 6th. Mets have been rolling, although they're on the short end of a 1-0 game in the 6th inning in Miami tonight. They just swept the Nationals over the weekend, did the Mets, to leapfrog Washington into first in the National League East. You saw the Mets for that 3-game series. Are you a believer in those New York Mets?
Well, they have improved their ball club a little bit. They've got pretty good starting pitching, but no. The short answer is no. But I would say that the Nationals have opened the door wide and allowed the Mets to be where they are. I mean, if you just look at the number of wins they have in that division compared to the teams in this division. I mean, New York has 56 wins, and they're leading the National League East. That would put them about 10 games back of the St. Louis Cardinals if they were in this division.
That's why, you and I have talked about this, and look, they have plenty of time to turn it around, and they've had a lot of guys injured, so it's unfair to make a blanket statement about the Nationals. But when we've seen them, and of course the Reds did not lose a game to the Nationals this year, so we did not see them at their best. But I thought of all the division leaders at the time that they were by far the most impressive, the least impressive of any of the better teams, quote unquote, we've seen in the league so far this season.
They might be the most, when healthy, the most impressive on paper, but the least impressive on the field, at least the way they played.
Yes.
And they have been hurt by injuries.
No question. When you don't have a Worth and Rendon and Zimmerman for a long time, I mean, that's the heart of your batting order. Fly ball short right, and the beat goes on for Lackey. We're off to the 7th. We'll check in with Jim Day when we come back. Reds still lead 3-2.
Now, would you be able to attend Xavier without the RBI program?
I would not. Like, with this money that they offered me and my family, it has helped so much, and I wouldn't be able to pursue my dreams of being a teacher if it weren't for this scholarship.
Now, you're turning around and you're coaching now and volunteering at the academy and the RBI program. You know firsthand, you're a success story yourself, so I bet you're looking forward to creating more success stories for the youth that's coming behind you.
That's correct, hopefully. So far I'm seeing a whole bunch of little girls, and they're just full of energy, and it just gives me so much hope for our future. I don't know, they're so sweet.
Well, Tom and Chris, she's studying early childhood education. She hopes to be a first or second grade teacher in the future. Again, she's a perfect example, a success story, and she's giving back. And we hope if you have the means, you can give back as well tonight.
Great stuff, Jim. Great stuff indeed. And congratulations to her. She should feel very good about where she's going in this world of ours. Meanwhile, the Reds have made a pitching change. Anthony DeSclafani allows 7 hits in 6 innings, does not walk a batter all night, strikes out a career high 9. He gives up 2 runs, but he is lifted in favor of Burke Badenhag. Ball 1 to Randall Grichuk.
Won't know until after the ball game. We asked why DeSclafani's out only after 6 innings, 93 pitches. Certainly couldn't be pitch count, but it might be that they're keeping an eye on him. You know, they want him to finish strong all year long, and maybe Brian just feels on a warm night he's had enough.
Bouncer. They'll go to second and give the speedy Wong, and that's a big out right there. Well, that's a really big out.
Well, if you can't get 2, the next best thing is to get the lead runner. And a high chopper like that, Frazier never hesitates, and he's got a strong arm, you know it. Brandon gets that ball and just kind of hangs right in there, although he does lift his left leg to get it out of the way of the sliding Wong. All legal and all clean.
Well, the night is also over for the Cardinals starter John Lackey. His spot in the batting order coming up right now. Greg Garcia in from the left side will bat for him, and first pitch swinging, a fly ball out number 2. So that now makes it a career best 10 consecutive starts for John Lackey that are quality starts. 6 or more innings, 3 runs or less. And really all of his problems occurred in the first inning and a third. He gave up all 3 runs he surrendered in the game in the very first inning. His biggest out perhaps of the night came in the second when he allowed an infield hit, a walk. Brandon Phillips stole third. The Reds had runners on the corners leading 3-0. Frazier the batter. He struck out Frazier, and that would start a run where he would not allow another base runner the rest of the night.
Lackey, with his effort tonight, that gives him 17 quality starts out of the 22 that he's put up there. That's 4th best in the league, behind the likes of Greinke and Clayton Kershaw, Jake Arrieta, and Garrett Cole. He was tied now with Arrieta and Cole.
1-1 to Carpenter. He drove in both Cardinal runs with a 2-run home run to deep right center field, back into third. Anthony DeSclafani struck him out twice tonight. Well, you know the equation for the Reds, trying to get Badenhop through this 7th. Hoover in the 8th. Chapman in the 9th. And Carpenter lifts one into right field. Advancing first to third is Grichuk. So the tying run 90 feet away. Second hit tonight by Carpenter. And Piscotty coming up. Well, the last inning, the Cardinals had 2 on with 2 out, and Molina coming up in a 1-run game. And DeSclafani got him on a ground ball to short. So if that was the biggest out of the night at the time, this now becomes an even bigger out. An inning later, tying run at third, lead run at first. And Badenhop v. Piscotty, who's 0 for 3 in the game. There's that ground ball out for a second straight inning. Badenhop a scoreless 7th. They stand and stretch, and the Reds still lead by a run. We understand a number of you are waiting on hold, calling the Reds Community Fund tonight for our telethon. Please remain patient. They will answer your phone. We only have so many operators standing by and so many phone lines set up for this tonight. So we appreciate your patience. We certainly appreciate you picking up the phone and calling to donate. They will get to you. That's a promise. Well, the one-time Cardinal skip Schumacher takes over for the pitcher Badenhop, hitting for him, and Seth Maness is on to pitch for St. Louis.
Well, it was really nice to hear the round of applause that Skip Schumacher got when the Reds were in St. Louis and he was introduced into the ballgame as a pinch hitter. I mean, they nearly gave him a standing O. He was a full-time player there for a couple of years, a part-time player for a couple of other years, Schumacher was, and had a big impact on the fans there.
It only makes sense. I mean, the only time, why would you boo a guy who gave you everything he has? There's a base hit into center field. Just because a guy leaves your organization doesn't make him a bad guy. Maybe your team can't keep him because you don't want to spend that much for a quote-unquote backup player. Schumacher ended up out in Los Angeles with the Dodgers. You know, going back home for him. Now, if a guy walks away from your organization and says a lot of bad things walking out the door, kind of the way Matt Latos did in spring training this year, then you know you can understand why fans would boo him.
Yeah, I'm not really saying that they would boo him, but I mean just the magnitude of the applause and the length of it. It was almost like, you know, he was an MVP with St. Louis. I mean, they really appreciated what he gave them in his years there.
Well, I guess what I was saying was just that it seems like almost everywhere you do go, when a player leaves for whatever reason and they come back to the team they played for, there seemed to be a lot of boos in the stands. And obviously there wasn't the way they felt about him in St. Louis.
Oh, shucks.
1 out in the inning.
Now, Molina was thinking about it. That pop-up was right in front of him. He smiled about it now, wondered, could I have pulled that off? Meaning, could I have let this ball drop? You can't catch it and then intentionally drop it, but you can let it bounce. And Billy Hamilton wasn't running down the line. He was standing there just around the circle with his bat in his hand. Now, had Molina had eyes on the side of his head, he probably would have, because he probably thought Hamilton was going to be 3/4 of the way down the line.
Now, we won't know until later whether that was a situation where Hamilton was asked to sacrifice. When you're leading by a run, bottom of the 7th inning, leadoff man aboard, you certainly could speculate that he was asked to put down a sacrifice. But the way he went about putting down that bunt did not look like he was trying to sacrifice. He looked like he was trying to bunt for a hit.
Well, I wish his bunts for hit looked more like sacrifices, because he's so fast he doesn't need to be running out of the batter's box at contact.
J.J. Hoover, as we suspected, is getting loose in the Reds bullpen. And it's still 0-2 on Brandon Phillips, 2 for 3 in the game. He scored a run, stolen a base. Cardinals will have 3, 4, 5 in their batting order due up in the 8th. Left-handed batting Hayward. Right-handed hitting Peralta. Left-handed hitting Moss.
Cardinals have some issues in their bullpen. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a good bullpen, really good bullpen, but they go to it so often that, you know, they may have 7 men down there, but it's really 4 guys that are carrying most of the load. So they made some changes. They went out and got Steve Cishek from the Miami Marlins. He was a former closer, having some rough time in Miami this year. Ended up actually being sent down to the minor leagues, and they also picked up former Red Jonathan Broxton.
And many feel the reason they went out and made the deal for Broxton was because, you know, they keep hoping and hoping and hoping they're going to get Jordan Walden back sometime soon, and that just continues to drag and drag and drag. So they needed a right-handed hammer down in that bullpen, and Broxton figures to be the guy. This will be our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Randy Choate will come on to face Joey Votto.
Authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
All right, here we go. Reds lead 3-2, batting in the bottom of the 7th inning. A runner at first base, and Joey Votto, the batter, with 2 away. Randy Choate from the Cardinal bullpen starts him away for ball 1. Votto 4 of 12 in his career against a guy that seems to just go on and on and on and on in his career.
Started in 2000 with the New York Yankees. He's always a guy that really throws more games than he does innings. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Last year, for instance, he had 61 game appearances, but he only threw 36 innings. And of course, all those 36 innings were against probably the toughest left-handers on the other team.
To Votto. I mean, this guy's in there for one batter. They have a right-hander down there ready in the bullpen. Cishek. There are the numbers for Votto against Choate. And Votto is not afraid to hack 3-0. We've seen that through the years.
And Choate's not afraid to drop down and throw a sidewinding breaking ball 3-0. I mean, it's what he does.
Three-1 delivery. Little breaking ball down and away from Votto. He rolls over it, and that'll retire the side. Choate comes all the way back from 3-0 behind. We're off to the 8th. 3-2, Reds in front. Runs in the first inning, and all 3 came with 2 outs. Jay Bruce had double to left field, scoring Brandon Phillips. Bruce would score 1 batter later on a 2-out double to right center by Marlon Byrd. And then after a walk to Pena, Eugenio Suarez drove in Marlon. 3 runs, 5 hits, and a walk in the first inning. It became a one-run game in the third. First time in 24 innings the Cardinals had scored against Reds pitching. Matt Carpenter a 2-run home run. DeSclafani settled in thereafter, struck out a career-high 9 in his 6 innings. Did not walk a batter all night. Peyton Hobb gave him an inning out of the bullpen, a scoreless inning. And now the Reds carry a 3-2 lead, hoping to get DeSclafani the win as they hand the ball, the Reds do now, to J.J. Hoover.
It gets to be that time. I mean, if you can get through the 8th with Hoover, you know who's coming in the 9th.
Opponents only hitting 182 in 46 1/3 frames against J.J. Part of the order for the Redbirds in the 8th. Ball 1 to Hayward.
Boy, if you're going to come inside, though, like Brian Pena wanted that pitch, that is a spot to miss.
J.J. shaking off Hoover. Off Pena a couple of times. Finally the okay. And lined into center field. Hamilton racing back to get it. What an unbelievable play by Billy Hamilton. Not only the speed, but he has some hops.
That ball absolutely smoked, hit right on the button. And at first, Billy Hamilton didn't realize how hard that ball was hit. Oh, that's a beautiful play.
Well, we talk about it much like Brandon Phillips seemingly every night. If Hamilton doesn't win a Gold Glove this season, it would be hard to believe there are 3 outfielders better defensively in this league than the converted shortstop, Billy Hamilton. Not only a great play, a very important play. That was a leadoff man in a 1-run game here in the 8th inning.
I mean, if you're the Cardinals, you're thinking this has got to be your inning here because you've got Chapman down in the bullpen. Especially given the fact that if it all goes right for the Reds, Chapman will be facing the lower part of the order.
And Hoover issues a 4-pitch walk to Johnny Peralta. We know that Moss has some pop in at bat. 15 home runs so far this season. 50 runs batted in. He was just here a couple of weeks ago as a member of the Cleveland Indians and hit a long home run during that weekend series. Broken bat pop up. Ball in the infield. Votto will handle it, and the bat goes flying a good about 30 feet beyond the first base bag. Reds and the Diamondbacks, August 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And thanks to Reach Savings Magazine, you can catch the actions and save on that 4 for $48 ticket offer. That's the entire series. You get 4 view-level tickets, 4 exclusive Reds hats, all for $48. 381-REDS, the number to dial for tickets, or log on to Reds.com. Here's Yadier Molina for 3. fastball at 94 miles per hour, blown right by Molina. JJ ahead now at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tying run over at first base. That's Peralta. And the 2-2 from JJ. We'll do it again. They started the runner that time. Full count, so now we know the runner gets started. Reds 3, Cardinals 2. Hoover v. Molina with a tying run at first and 2 outs in the 8th. Got a play, we'll do it again. Eighth pitch of this at bat coming up. Hoover hoping that will do the trick and send his team to the dugout, which it should. Suarez will play to first. Inning over. Billy Hamilton's catch could turn out to be a game saver if the Reds can nail it down in the 9th.
Open throughout the post-game show, and online you can donate anytime. Reds Country, let's make this $100,000. Let's double what we did last year. I've been getting some comments on social media tonight asking why am I so emotionally invested. I am very personally emotionally invested. There is a story behind it, a personal story, which perhaps someday I'll share if we have time. But I'm telling you, these kids need mentoring. They need a place to play. They need direction in life. And part of your money is going to go right towards that.
Amen to that, Jim Day. Amen to that. Steve Cishek, the one-time closer when this season began for the Marlins of Miami, just acquired in a trade. And now he'll take over on the mound following Lackey, Manus choked. Reds in front 3-2, batting in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Now this year with the Marlins, you're looking at over his numbers overall this year. He had wildness. He gave up a lot of hits. There was a time when he was pretty much guaranteed lights out. You bring him into a ball game, especially when he faced right-handed hitters. He drops down like that and he can lock you up in a heartbeat.
2-2 the count on Frazier. He'll be followed in this Reds 8th inning by Bruce and Marlon Byrd. Strike 3 called, and Frazier knew it. Second time he's gone down looking tonight. The Reds have one base runner since a walk to Votto in the 2nd inning, and they are trying to make it stand. The 3 runs in the first. Matt Carpenter made it a 1-run game with a 2-run home run in the 3rd. This will be the 2nd out of the inning on a nice play made by Colton Wong. Plenty of arm from out there in short right. Well, we invite you to get ready tomorrow, 30 minutes before the start of the game, and we do that 30 minutes before the start of every game on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. And the pitching matchup for game 2 of this series. Carlos Martinez against a rookie David Holmberg. Holmberg threw very well after being called up from the minor leagues.
Two completely styles of pitching going after it tomorrow. Martinez, a blazing fastball. Holmberg, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Left-hander that likes to change speeds.
Holmberg made that start against the Pirates. That was when the Reds routed the Buccos on Thursday night, 15-5. Holmberg went 6, allowed 3. Bird a fly ball to right, and here we go in the 9th. Wong, Pritchett, a pinch hitter to face the main man, Aroldis Chapman. Well, here at Great American Ballpark, there's been no surer bet than handing the ball to Aroldis Chapman. Consecutive games on the home turf, a major league record, 55 in a row, even better than baseball's all-time greatest closer, Mariano Rivera's 51. Boy, look at the names on that list. Mercy. And now Chapman will try and make it 56. He will start the 9th inning with a 3-2 lead.
I'll tell you, when they bring Aroldis Chapman into the ball game here, and the video display that they have, they got a little video going about a 30-second when he swings open the gate to the bullpen, and with music accompanying. You talk about getting the crowd fired up. They do it here as well or better than they do in any other major league market.
That's why it would be so exciting while Chapman is in a Reds uniform. How long that will be, no one knows. To see him come in to close a league championship series or a World Series game, it would just be it would be something, because he is truly something. Now, he did allow a run, you may remember, on Sunday. It was a shaky Saturday rather shaky 9th inning to hold off the Pirates, as Colton Wong looks at a fastball, strike one. A couple little dinks and dunks, a little flare here, a little roller there, a walk here.
Well, what's amazing about that is that he doesn't give up a lot of dinks because he doesn't allow that much contact. He's striking out everybody.
Wong, Pritchett, and then the Cardinals will go to their bench. That one was out of whack as soon as he picked up his right foot. First time ever Colton Wong has seen Aroldis Chapman up close and personal. And the 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Chapman trying to get DeSclafani his 7th win as a Red. DeSclafani once again just pitching a wonderful game. 2-2 delivery. Seems to be a little out of whack.
Yeah, he seems to be pulling the ball, and everything is down and away. And in the process, that means your hip is open just a little bit at the time you lay your foot down. I'll keep that hip closed.
Got him swinging. 1 out.
What better time to bring you our flamethrower, brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce. This one at 99 mph for a strikeout.
Chapman has only blown 1 save this entire year. .22 out of 23. Pulled foul.
Starting Grichuk off with a slider.
they've got the big slugger Mark Reynolds waiting on deck.
And then a changeup.
Came back with a breaking ball.
I'll tell you, they must really respect Grichuk's ability to hit a fastball. And if you look at him in the batter's box and how he has that bat flat, he does get it up into a little bit more of an upright position when he starts to swing. But he gives you the feeling that he can turn on a heater because he's got that bat almost parallel to the ground. So it's already on the right angle.
And then comes at you with 101.
That's a little different fastball right there.
I was going to say that would almost be a moral win if you were a batter and you went to the plate to face Chapman and he never threw you a fastball.
Well, Aroldis gave him a chance to hit the off-speed stuff.
All right, now Reynolds. This guy has unbelievable power in that bat. He swings and misses a lot, but a dangerous hitter in a one-run game. So you pull the string on him. Throwing an 88-mile-an-hour changeup.
Might be the most unhittable pitch in baseball there. When's the last time you've seen a hitter put that in play?
Oh, and one. This should do it. And Chapman nails it down with a perfect ninth. Reds all of a sudden have won 3 of their last 4 against a team that's owned them. Final score tonight, 3-2. Outstanding pitching by the quartet of DeSclafani, Badenhop, Hoover, and Chapman gets his 23rd save in 24 tries. Bruce and company come up with 3 in the first inning and made it stand up in a 3-2 win. We'll be back with more in a moment.